I'm not dying with this business. It will be sold at some point in time, because if I die, then everyone else is going with it, that I've taken with me for years on this journey, right? I need to build it to where it's sustainable, to where it can take care of everyone else, where it can provide some financial and some time freedom for me and my family. So like when you get started, you're excited. You're like, I have a passion, I've got a vision, I'm going to start this business. And then you get like 10 years into it and you're like, this is going to end. And then what?
There's definitely a little bit of control issues that go into play. I don't trust anybody to care about these people as much as I do.
I think a lot of people too, like that start businesses, they want the time freedom, the financial freedom. They like a bit of the power, right? A little power and control is nice, because it's like, I don't have a boss now. Instead, I have 500 clients or bosses or whatever, right? Or 500
It's a different kind of boss.
You'll always have a boss. Yeah. Welcome back to the Bruising Business Podcast. I'm your host, Braedon Kruse, and I have an exciting guest that I'm going to introduce here in just a moment. She hasn't been back since like probably 2 years ago, but our official coffee roaster of the podcast is Gregory Coffee Roasters. Right now we have got a Costa Rican blend. Well, sorry, I keep saying blend. It's a single origin from Costa Rica. It's got some tasting notes of cherry cola and hibiscus. So Gregory, if you order on their site, they will roast it to order, so it's always fresh, guaranteed. Now, without further ado, welcome back, Mindi.
How are you? Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So since we've last talked, a lot has changed both on your side and mine. And for those who don't know who you are or what you do, kind of give me a little bit of a rundown.
Sure. I'm Dr. Mindi Salvino. I'm a board-certified naturopath in the state of Oklahoma. I own the Pure Health Collective in Jinx, Oklahoma, Glacier Holistic Body Works, and Biocharged Pure Pilates of Jinx.
And, okay, how long have you been involved in, did you start all that? Did you buy it from somebody else? Or
no,
did you do it?
I started from my couch like 8 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
I started in my garage.
Yeah.
Like Bezos did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta do what works.
Still work in the garage every now and then. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's kind of still like, what, of a man cave or something? Yeah. What's your favorite part of what you're doing?
It's cliche, but helping people. People call my office all the time and thank us, or they send us flowers or little treats or plants that I can't keep alive to say thank you. And really life-changing stuff happens in my office.
So. I can't keep plants alive either. That's why they're fake. Like this one over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the ones in the office. So especially our old office didn't have very many windows.
No.
Unless there was a couple of them. Now we've got like floor-to-ceiling ones, so maybe I've got a better shot.
Yeah. This is a beautiful space.
Yeah. Same price. Can you believe that? Yeah, 3 times the square footage, same price.
It's crazy.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Pure Health Collective, you're out in Jinx.
Yep, right on Main Street.
They've had that spot for 3 years? And how old is the business? When did you start it?
I've been practicing 8 years. So I originally started, like I said, from my couch doing consultations, and I'd mail out packets to people so they could do their pH testing and, things in advance before we'd do it over the phone. And I got so busy that I needed a space. So I went in, rented a tiny little room that I couldn't afford. My first 3 months of rent, I had to put on a credit card because I didn't have any money. And outgrew that space and got a whole upstairs. And then now I have about 10,000 square feet where I'm at now.
And it's more than just the medicine side, right?
Yes.
So there's is it yoga?
Pilates. Reformer Pilates.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. It is, there's really nothing like it in the country. It's a non-toxic studio. So I fell in love with Pilates a few years ago, and at the end of class, you would spray down the equipment, and I would just cringe because I'm like, all these chemicals, and you're sweating, and your pores are open, and it's going in your skin. And so I would just cringe. And I was like, I bet there's a better way to do this. So the studio is non-toxic. We don't use any kind of harsh chemicals. The water is super filtered. I have it specially delivered in glass containers. It's distilled. So it's like hydrogen and oxygen. It's pure water. There's hospital grade air filtration systems. I have EMF blockers. So like
Wild.
ambient.
Okay, there's a lot more to this than what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just some average Pilates studio.
No. No.
It's not like what you would find at 10 Gym.
No.
Okay.
No. We have a biocharger.
Okay.
to my knowledge, there's only me and one other person that has one in the state of Oklahoma, but no one has put them in a health facility like where you do physical health. So it's programmable and has these giant neon, argon, and xenon gas rods, and you can program it for what you want it to emit out into the room. So we do things for muscle recovery, cellular turnover, healing, mentally calm.
Wait, how does it work?
You fire this thing up. It's huge, and it has lightning that shoots out the top. I know how crazy that sounds, but there's pictures of it on the website, and it fills the room with pulsed electromagnetic fields. There's 5 different therapies that your cells react to, and so we have it running every class, and we program it for different things.
Man, so you've mentioned several things that we touched on a little bit when we last recorded together, and I don't know if you know, but that episode is what apparently everyone's most interested in. It's the most downloaded episode a few years back, and so that means there's some connection or some disconnect, and people wanting more knowledge or education on just more natural medicine, and that can be a deep rabbit hole. So you mentioned the water, you mentioned the electromagnetic field stuff, and then you mentioned the non-toxic environments. So I assume that would mean like cleaning supplies, no chemicals, right?
None.
Is there like anything special with the equipment on that too, or
No,
like the pads, or
it's
like
really high-end
paint?
equipment. It's a high-end reformers, but they're standard Pilates equipment. So the styles of our classes, we have cardio trampolines. So there's like jumping classes, and there's a lot of variety. Another thing that makes us kind of different is that the other Pilates studios in town that are like franchised, they are very, very strict with what's being allowed to be taught. And I like a lot of diversity. So I give my instructors free reign to teach in their own style, and they come up with some really awesome stuff. And I told them I just want them to be excited about what they're teaching, and then the people are going to be excited to learn it. And so all the instructors are totally different from each other. Their teaching styles are different, and so there's a lot of variety in the different classes you can take.
Okay. So Pilates, that's new, right? Since then?
Yeah. February 7th is our 1-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how is it going so far, so good?
It's going great.
Okay. Yeah. And the medicine side of things, that goes back further, like 5 or 6 years? If I remember correctly?
Yes, so I've been in practice 8, and when I got a location, it's been 6.5, 7 years since I had a location, and I started incorporating holistic therapies. So not just consultations, but having modalities present in the office to help accomplish what we're trying to do.
Why'd you go down that path of that kind of medicine?
Yeah. I was a holistic dental hygienist. I worked in biologic dentistry. I was in dentistry for 18 years. I was actually the first dental hygienist in the country that was ozone certified, because it was only offered to dentists, to medical doctors and dentists. And the biologic dentist that I work for, he was Vietnam friends with the dentist that taught the course. And he's like, I want Mindi in this class. So I snuck in under the rail, and they let me get certified. And so I was using ozone therapy in dentistry. We were injecting it into necrotic bone, floating it like around the sulcus of the tooth where all the bacteria is to sterilize it. It has a lot of dental uses. And when I opened a naturopathic practice, I had all these certifications and years of experience in ozone, and it was a no-brainer that it was going to be a cornerstone to what I was going to offer people.
Is there any particular habits that you've learned or picked up over the last 8 years since then? Like,
what do you mean?
like the glass, like the drinking the water out of the glass. That was something interesting that like I've picked up that habit since we talked.
Yeah.
Compared to plastic. Well, I say that this isn't glass. This is an actual metal container.
Yeah. So metal's better than plastic. So distilled water is something like I have a tabletop distiller in my house, and I have a reverse osmosis water system that filters it all out. But then I take it a step further and I distill it. And the reason that I do that is because when it exits the distiller, It's hydrogen, it's oxygen, it doesn't have any contaminants. It's deeply tissue saturating because your organs don't have to do anything to filter out anything to use it. So it just goes immediately to be used within the body. But you can do different things with it depending on how you want to use it. So if you're trying to detox your body, you can drink it in between meals on an empty stomach. And because it's been stripped of everything, it's looking for something to bond to. So it'll bond to toxins within the body and help detoxify you.
Really?
Yes, but if you drink it while you're eating, it'll bond to minerals in your food and carry that out. So if you use it while you're eating, I put a little bit of mineral salt in it. So it's bonded to something, and then you can drink it with your meals. But if you have it in plastic, it's going to leach all the chemicals out of the plastic, and then you drink that, and it's worse.
The cups that like you'll get from Quick Trip or Starbucks or wherever else, and they're like the not cardboard, not plastic. What is that? Like paper almost?
They're like paper with a
Right.
wax coating.
I've heard that it'll break down after usage for even like a couple hours. It starts to break down, and then those chemicals kind of get into the drinks.
Yeah.
And especially like if there's people who don't finish it, and then they'll finish it the next day, then it's even worse.
Yep.
You heard about that?
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
So encourage people to use glass
And metal straws. I
metal
love this.
straws,
I
so
was
like
checking
this.
out your,
So I
I
got
was
you
checking
one.
it out.
So
Oh,
if
thank
you wanna take it
you.
with you.
Awesome.
And then I've got you a bag of coffee if you'll drink it, if you want it.
I
So,
enjoy coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it black, nothing in it.
Just black, no, two sugars, no, nothing? No? All right.
Straight up black
Fair.
coffee.
All right. It's probably the best way to go about it. No sugar.
It's an acquired taste, but
What are some of the things that like? Is there anything in particular you've learned like last year, or that you're trying to do different this year?
goodness. I've learned I need to ask for reviews. That's something that's happened in the past few months because I had a lady come to me and she's like, "Thank God I'm here. I'm so excited. I would have come so much sooner, but you don't have any reviews." And I've
For the
never
Pilates? side?
for my practice.
Oh,
I've
what?
never hustled people. I've never asked people for reviews. I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth, and so I don't. It's not even been on my radar. And so we put a little thing up at the front desk just in the past month for people to do reviews, and we've got 10, 12, 15 reviews, and it's also really cool to read them and see how you've impacted somebody that you didn't even realize, in ways that you didn't realize.
Yep.
So that's ask for reviews.
I think it's a great way to like be able to listen to your customers and understand like what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So they can be good, they can be bad, they can be neutral. Either way, they'll tell you exactly what they want and what they enjoyed the most. So that'll give you like really good feedback, which is pretty much what it's designed for, a review or a feedback. And then you can hone in on what they loved and what they didn't, then quickly like try to figure out how to improve or get rid of.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many reviews do you have now?
I don't know. No,
Oh.
I mean, not a whole lot. We've only been doing it a very, very short time, but
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10 or 15, 17, somewhere in there.
Find it interesting that I wonder it took one or two customers to say something that were like, well, you didn't have any reviews, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
But you've been in business for so long.
I
So all of
know.
a sudden it only took two customers for that to make it important, I guess.
Yeah. Anything
Pretty much.
anybody tells me, even if it's just one person, is important to me. And I take it into consideration. And there's some, like I have a hyperbaric chamber in my practice, and I got it because 2 or 3 people said, "When are you going to get a hyperbaric chamber?" And I was like, okay. So I got one, and there is uses for it. I do put people in. I think the ozone's far superior, but I have it for the people that ask for me to have it. So I do pay attention, but reviews were just not even on my radar. It's a word of mouth practice, so doing a lot of stuff on the internet to try to promote it's never been anything that I've
Facebook
done.
ads and stuff like that, like never. Yeah.
never.
I wonder why that is. Is it because like it's a bit more of a trust based thing? Like just is that an industry thing where it's like trust based, or is it like you think it's your business in particular?
I have no idea. I've never compared myself. There's nobody really in the country that does what I do. So there's really nobody to compare myself to and be like, they're doing this, maybe I should do this. I don't know. Maybe that's an area that I'm lacking. I've just never.
Yeah. I find it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just never. It was really difficult to get my business started and let people know that I existed. But when you help somebody immensely and their life changes, they want you to see their sister and their daughter and their aunt and their father
And the dog.
and then those people, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just goes and goes and goes until it snowballs, and then that's just what's happened. And
Yeah. What do you what's your like exit? What's your like your end goal with the Pilates studio and the medicine side of things? So are you like, well, I'll take it until I'm 60 and then just end the business there, or are you eventually at some point in time thinking that it's going to sell? Or are you wanting multiple locations and then eventually just become
So-
like a silent partner thing, or like
it's really interesting. My husband and I have had this conversation because we're in our mid 40s, and the next decade or so, you're starting to look at retirement, and it's such valuable work that I couldn't ever just shut it down. My dream, my absolute goal would be to do really well with investments so that I don't have to work and open it up as a nonprofit and treat people for free. That's my end goal.
oh that'd be
It's
that's
my
a great
ultimate
idea.
goal.
And so is that like it's like a 10-year timeline ideally if you were to put a date on it?
Probably. Yeah. We've had the conversation about selling my practice, and my husband has a good point. He's like, they're there for you, for me specifically, so it would be difficult. I could sell all the equipment.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wouldn't be the same.
I've had this kind of conversation with myself and with my wife over the last, I don't know, 3 to 5 years and I'm not dying with this business. It will be sold at some point in time because if I die, then everyone else is going with it, that I've taken with me for years on this journey, right? And so I need to build it to where it's sustainable, to where it can take care of everyone else, to where it can provide a little bit of, where it can provide some financial and some time freedom for me and my family. And hopefully it's not too late by the time I get to still spend time with my kids before they get out. So like I have 2 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
One's about to be 11. And then I have a 1.5-year-old. So nearly restarted a decade later, which is kind of cool. It's a little different now, but she'll wind up kind of, I assume, being like an only child at that point. 'Cause
Yeah.
by the time, they're 15, they're going to be kind of out of the house. She's going to be 5. They're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I got a car now and, whatever else. But so I'm trying to think of like, and I actually went on a rant about this too. And I was talking, do you know Mason? He's an investor, does a bunch of real estate
I don't
stuff
think
now.
so.
Or Kyle Sullivan.
Yes.
Kyle?
Yep, I do.
And I was talking with them about how like, I don't think a lot of business owners know like where they're going, where they're going to end up. So like when you get started, you're excited. You're like, I have a passion. I've got a vision. I'm going to start this business. I've got $3,000 in credit card line and I'm going to go start it. I'm going to open up shop, whatever it is. And then you get like 10 years into it and you're like, or sometimes even earlier than that. And you're like, okay, well, eventually this is going to end. And then what? And I don't think a lot of us start and think, okay, with the end in mind, okay, at some point in time I need to get out and I need to build this to where I can get out at some point in time. And businesses like yours, especially yours, are where there's doctors or or consultants or coaches, like where they are the product or service.
Yeah.
They can become so specialized, and people look to them for expertise. But if they're no longer available, then what happens to the business? Then what happens to their customers? Like if you became sick and God forbid became hospitalized for like 3 or 4 months, what would happen to the business and the employees and the customers? Would they need to find somebody else,
Yep.
And so I started thinking about that, and I say that in my eyes as well, looking at Sooner Marketing, and my wife and I are like, you are so valuable and everything is in your head, and we need to get people in place to be able to get this stuff out of your head, because if something happens, we're all screwed. Like nobody has access to the bank accounts. Nobody knows, what's happening with these few clients or whatever. Like they may have a general idea, but not particularly, so how can we like make sure that what we're doing with clients is able to be continued if I become hospitalized or, or worse, right? Can they still pay bills? Can somebody access money, right? I think a lot of people too, like that start businesses, they want the time freedom, the financial freedom. They like a bit of the power, right? A little power and control is nice because it's like, I don't have a boss now. instead I have 500 clients and our bosses or whatever, right? Or 500
It's a different
patients,
it's a different kind of boss.
You'll
Yeah.
always have a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that kind of turned into a long story short where it's like trying to think of then what?
Yep.
Like, this is great. Like, you know, you're making an impact. You're doing this. You started a business. That's awesome. But
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of control issues that go into play because people ask me all the time, when are you going to have a satellite office or when are you going to train somebody? Because there's such a long wait to get in. They're like, when are you going to train somebody? But I don't trust anybody to care about these people as much as I do. Like, I will literally lay awake at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking of something else I should have said, like, this would probably help them too, you know?
it keeps you up at night.
Yeah, and I have to contact them and let them know, hey, I got one more thing that I want you to do. And I don't know. I don't trust that anybody else is going to care as much as I do, so it would be really difficult for me to hand that over to another person. I would love it if my children were interested in what I do. I have a 14-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter, and she wants to be a magician, and he wants to be a lawyer. So far, I'm just out of luck. So,
well, unless the magician
we'll
can help you with that luck.
Right?
Right? Okay. All right. Did you, kind of back when you started, did you have, okay, so looking back 8 to 10 years, when you got started, did you have the same thoughts of like, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm prepared for retirement? Like, over the last 8 years, have you invested in any of the retirement stuff, Roth 401k stuff, or like?
Yes. So I've started investing. I actually do most of my investing's crypto, honestly.
Really?
A whole lot of crypto.
What, you got
Yeah.
Shiba Inu, what, Bitcoin?
I have XRP.
Doge,
I don't.
XRP?
Yeah, XRP is my main one.
Are you day trading it or what?
No.
Oh.
I started buying it in 2019, and it's been a buy and hold this whole time. And you got to be made of steel a little bit for that because
Gotta ignore it.
you buy it when it's nothing,
Yeah.
and then you see it drop to less than nothing, and then it's really paid off in the past 3 months.
To 1,000th of a cent. Like
Yeah.
some of those.
Yeah, it's just bought it and hold it. But that's
You
what
actually own part of crypto, so you're on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people use Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm like, well, no, Robinhood owns that crypto. You didn't actually
Exactly.
go buy
You have to put it in a wallet.
a wallet.
Yep.
That's cool.
Something you have the keys to that you can access.
So, oh man, what was do you remember Decentraland? Did you ever
Mhm.
hear about that?
Yeah.
Did you ever get in on it?
No?
So I did. That was wild.
Yeah.
I wonder how it's evolved since then.
I don't know.
I had a gaming PC at the time that I built, and that's kind of 3 or 4 years ago, something. Back when the whole Ethereum and Decentraland conversation took off.
Mm-hmm.
And, like iHeartRadio was doing shows and stuff with artists and Decentraland.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about all that?
No,
They're selling paintings and stuff like that. And
I-
they're building houses, buying property.
yes,
Remember all that?
I did. I have 3 paintings. There's an app called Nifty
Did you
Gateway.
get in on that?
So
On
I guess
NFTs?
yes. So
Nice. Okay.
I did not pan out. I've still got these paintings that are like up for sale, and no, it did not pan out. But yes, I did. And crypto wise, like I used to have Sandbox, which I think is the crypto
Yeah.
of Decentraland. I think they're
Yep.
connected somehow.
Yep.
But anyway, yes, I did the paintings and
People were getting
Still got 'em.
jobs.
yeah.
On there getting paid in,
Yeah,
in
how crazy is
cryptocurrencies.
that? Yeah, I was looking at buying land because the idea was like
Yep.
if you're in Times Square, that you could walk into a store virtually, buy something, and have it shipped to your house was the
Yep.
idea. And so people were buying up all of these prime
Blocks.
locations, waiting for the rest of the world to catch up to this idea. And I mean, so far it hasn't really caught on, but I mean, it may still, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's too premature
Yeah.
for a lot of people to understand for the
Mhm.
the masses. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely a direction that all that's heading, and it's going to happen sooner or later. Our kids, it's going to feel like more natural to them. I think.
Yeah.
I think in the next decade that they're going to start naturally just experiencing some of that, and they're going to be like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just I'm using Ethereum now, or I'm using XRP or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my son is very much a work smarter, not harder
Mhm.
kind of kid. and I got him a subscription to this. It's like an online forum, and it has crypto investors, real estate investors, people that do all kinds of different things, and it's just videos that they've made, like how-to videos. You can interact with them, you can ask them questions and things
That's
like
cool.
that. And so when he's grounded and we don't give him a lot of electronic time anyway, but he'll ask me if he can go do his videos, and I'm like, okay. So he uses it as a way to cheat the system and get on a tablet,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
How old did you say he was? 14?
He's 14. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, mine's 10 and 11. So he's in, what is that, ninth grade? Ninth grade?
Ninth grade.
Yeah, that's got to be so weird. With my boys in 4th and 5th grade, about to be in 5th and 6th this year. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, flies by.
And then my 7-year-old, she wants to work. Like for Christmas, she asked us to build her a lemonade stand and a hot chocolate stand and get her a cotton candy machine and provide her with like cups, like everything she needs to start a business.
That's
is what she
awesome.
wanted. And so we finished it 2 weekends ago, but it's been too cold. So maybe
Yeah.
she'll get to sling some stuff in the neighborhood this weekend.
That's where I got started. Like, I was probably 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere right around there. And for many years, we would have this neighborhood garage sale. Have you heard this story?
No.
I have this neighborhood garage sale at 91st and Aspen. There was a big, huge neighborhood garage sale over there. And I would set up a lemonade stand in the afternoon. And in the mornings, I'd get up around 4 o'clock. My mom or dad would take me to Krispy Kreme. And then I'd have one of those big old thermoses. That I'd fill up with like Quick Trip, hot chocolate, or a cappuccino,
Yeah.
drinks. And I would sell those. And I'd make so much money every year. And other people in the neighborhood started doing it. They started doing different donut spots and different pizza spots and stuff. And so I was like, okay. And I remember year after year, I was like, okay, well, I need to figure out how to get people to come to my stand. And they'll park in a different part of the neighborhood and just spend all day just shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And I would put chalk on the sidewalks, and I would go put like signs throughout the neighborhood.
Point in this direction.
And almost do like the breadcrumb style of thing. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, want a donut? And then the next spot in the sidewalk would be like, go this way.
I can't imagine that you ended up in advertising.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And then a couple of years, I paid like some neighborhood friends. I'd be like, hey, you want to make $10? Come help me for a couple hours. And some years
Awesome.
I'd buy boxes of pizzas, like a dozen boxes of pizzas or like a dozen boxes of donuts or whatever. And I'd run through them all, make a few $100. Always be looking for a way to kind of make money on stuff like that. But yeah, so the entrepreneurial kind of spirit side of things, that's where it kind of started. I remember one year I wanted a bird, and Mom's like, you gotta figure out how to make money. I was like, all right. So I was like, can I have $10? And I went to like a warehouse market. You remember those?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they all shut down now.
Yeah, I think they did.
And that's back, this make me sound old too, back when candy bars were 25 cents. Now they're like $1.25 a piece.
Yeah.
But I'd buy like, 5 for $1 is what they would turn out to be, a special, whatever. And I'd buy a bunch of them. I'd just go knock on doors, be like, hey, I'm selling candy bars. They're like, are you with the Boy Scouts? I'm like, no, I just want a bird. Just buy some candy bars. Like mow lawns, water plants, like whatever I could do to make some money. So I encourage my boys to like, hey, you want something? You got to figure out how to go get it. I'll encourage you. I'll help support you. But like, I'm not just going to be like, hey, here's $100. Go buy some toys or, you want to, whatever you want. Like you got to help. You got to go get it. Figure out how to go get it.
Yeah. I pay my son to put stuff together. Like we got outdoor furniture. And so I'll pay him to put it together. And my girlfriends in the neighborhood, they would complain, like, I have this doorknob, I've been waiting 6 months for him to put it on. And I told Noah, I was like, you should start like a little business where you just put stuff together and fix doorknobs and whatever they need, and
Instacart, right?
yeah.
Heard of that? So I had one called Go for Deliveries.
What?
That's what I did. You would call me, and I had a cell phone. I did this at 14. And
You're way ahead of the
helped me
game.
get a cell phone, and I went to Vistaprint probably, Staples. Probably I think it was Vistaprint, and I ordered some business cards. Mom always helped and encouraged that stuff. And then I'd go hand them out. I'd go put them in people's mailboxes or put them on their doorsteps or whatever too. And the trailers that you can put your kids in and
Yeah.
ride. So I'd attach that to my bicycle, and I ran a couple like gopher deliveries.
That's awesome.
And go to Warehouse Market, which was like right across the neighborhood, right across the street from the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Come back and you need toilet paper, call me. You need something for dinner, give me
You
a
were
call.
way ahead of your time.
Yeah. So that was fun. I've done a lot of like little things like that, but yeah. I had 17 jobs by the time I was 20
Wow.
and started the business started it in, what would that be? Started freelancing, let's say in 2012. So 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I'd rather have all the bosses I have now
Mm-hmm.
than to have any one of the jobs I worked for. Quick Trip was my favorite job.
Yeah?
I loved working at Quick Trip.
Why did you like it?
A lot of reasons. It was a job that it always was stimulating. It was constantly stimulating. So if you're like ADD, ADHD, there's always something next to do. Like, oh, did I do this? And let's do this. And they're like quick tasks. A lot of those things were just quick tasks, cups, the straws, and then you got to do the floors, and then you got to do the bathrooms. And you get everything done in about like 5 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have a project that took 10 hours, took a whole day. And that's
You're getting that dopamine hit because you're knocking
all
stuff off your
And they gave you
schedule.
checklists. And so, like, okay, I had this shift. This was my checklist. You know exactly what you needed to do. Shifts went by really fast. And I feel like everyone I worked with was great.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's a good experience to learn efficiency.
yeah, because they got it down.
Mm-hmm.
They have got the efficiency side of things down. But at least when I worked there, that was great. I've heard it's changed. The QT kitchen side of things happened. Now the clerks are like, they're trying to, now the whole new logistic issue is trying to figure out how do you train them to also do kitchens and know how to just generally clean the bathroom floors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like two different kinds of expectations with them now, but that was my favorite job.
Yeah. It's amazing how stuff like that influences you. I was in dentistry for a really long time, and I worked for some really amazing dentists that were like mentors, and they treated you with so much respect. And then you also work for some really awful ones. So it makes a really stark comparison between the two. And like, I want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. And you remember how you felt when they instituted this rule or this rule. And so that's definitely impacted how I relate to my employees.
I've been fired from 3 for insubordination. And then 3 of them, the business closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all before I was 20. So this is like 14. My first job was at 14. I worked at a coffee shop on Main Street in Broken Arrow. It was called The Blend.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that. I don't know how long you were in Broken Arrow.
I've been here about 20 years. But I don't remember that.
Yeah, so they would have been in business there. I think there's a Mexican restaurant now where it is. Anyways, yeah. And then I think everyone needs to work in hospitality. I've worked at a couple of restaurants.
For sure.
I think you understand a lot of customer service and a lot of what general public, what it's like to work with the general population.
Yeah, I was a waitress.
Really?
All through all my prereqs for college. That's how I met my husband. I was this waitress.
Okay. And he just like slipped you his number? Or you
I didn't want
slipped his?
anything to do with him.
No?
Nope, not at all. I was trying to set him up with my friend.
Oh.
Yeah, but it all worked out. But yeah, he was a waiter through college also, and we've always said that you need to work in hospitality because it gives you so many good skills, patience and anticipating needs and being attentive and
Prioritization and multitasking to some degree, right?
Working with every personality type. Yeah, that's super beneficial.
I was a terrible waiter.
Really? I was
Couldn't do it.
great.
I loved the expo.
Yeah?
I could expo. I could get everything from the kitchen, make sure the tickets were right, and kind of do all that stuff and kind of have my general space.
Yeah.
But when it came to having 4 to 6 tables and some were 2, 4, 6 tops, or whatever, at the time I couldn't do it. But I rocked it at Quick Trip. That was the longest job that I had was 1.5 years in that time frame. But
I remember I was waitressing one time, and this family, it was a family of 6, sat down at this big table, and I was going to go see if they needed anything else, and they're all looking straight down. I'm like, man, they have been praying a long time. And they were all on their cell phones, all six of them, looking down. And I had been waiting and waiting and waiting for my opportunity to go over there. But I was a great waitress. What I didn't like was all of the drama amongst the employees. Like, that is a dramatic group.
It is its own ecosystem.
Yeah, I did not do well
And no matter which
with the
restaurant
politics of that.
you're at, they're
Yeah.
all like the same politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So it's not just me.
No, it was just all kinds of drama.
So does any other, back to kind of some of more of your professionalism and the things you do, is there any other doctors or types of medicine or practice that complements what you do? Like
Chiropractic.
Okay, like this guy.
Yes. Yep.
Y'all can't see him, but there's a guy over there that does chiropractic care.
Yeah. Chiropractic's fantastic. It's interesting because some people, if I tell them what I do, like if they're a medical doctor and I tell them what I do, they think you're a quack. There's no scientific basis to what you do, and
You're like, smell this leaf, and they're like, whatever.
No,
Okay.
no.
This lady's crazy. She's making me smell a leaf. I'm just kidding.
But I see a neurosurgeon and his entire family. I have 2 pediatricians. I have 3 cardiologists. I have a rheumatologist. And we all joke that I'm like their dirty secret because they bring their entire family to see me. But they would be completely ostracized at work if they knew that if their coworkers knew that their provider was a naturopath. But I've really seen the tides change since 2020, since COVID happened. A lot of people are more open-minded. I think chiropractors, they're treated differently by the medical community also.
Yep.
So we're kind of little outcasts together, but it goes very well. I have some great local chiropractor friends that refer people to
They're
me.
also really into the holistic medicine
Yes.
and natural remedies,
Mhm.
and not just here's some pain medication for your shoulder pain,
Exactly.
right? They're like, well, let's stretch it and let's work it, and here's some oils or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Seen a lot
I mean,
of the
some
chiropractic
of them do
oils.
use oils, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. What questions do you have for me, if any?
What's next for you?
Oh,
You got this great new space. I know
Yep.
you're chopping off things you don't need and ready to incorporate new things. So what's your next big goal?
on that board in the hallway, I can share some of those points with you, but some of the major ones I would say is I want to make sure that I date my wife twice a month in the house and outside of the house.
I love that.
So I want to make sure that I love to date her. Believe every relationship needs to make sure that that's a priority. So I want to make sure we go out to dinners, we go grab a drink, whatever it is outside of the house. No kids, nothing. And even when we're in the house, the kids can be at home or whatever. But
Yeah.
hey, it's 9:00. They're in bed. 9:30. They go do their own things, whatever it is. And then me and her can stay up and I don't know, play board games, or maybe it's our movie night. And
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything extravagant either. But it's like
Just designated time
just
together.
designating time together in
Yep,
the house.
that's
yeah.
fantastic.
I want to date. I do these dad dates
Mm-hmm.
with each of my boys, and so I'll do something with them individually, and it could be like, hey, let's go run to Chick-fil-A for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
or let's go to the park, or let's go see a movie, or a couple times last year I did something like a little bit more extravagant. Maybe I'd take them both. And hey, let's go to Main Street. What's it called? Not Main Street. Main Event. That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go to Main Event or something.
But I
like
love that.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, but sometimes it's costly doing that. It's easy to drop
Sure.
$100 on some video games there. I'm like, we
Yeah.
should stay home. Whatever. Yeah, so it's
We
good.
should
So
stay home.
yeah, just stay home and here's a controller and it's free. I'm already paying for internet.
Those are memories
So-
that they'll have forever, and those are things.
Yeah.
There's things that we do with our kids that my son has told me, like, I'm gonna do this with my family someday.
Yeah.
Like, we have this tradition. Well, my husband has this tradition where they're not allowed to have eggnog until the day after Thanksgiving. Like, Thanksgiving has to be over,
Yeah.
and they wait and they eye it and they have it like picked out, or we'll buy it and we'll put it in the fridge and they're looking
Yeah.
at it every day and they're just like waiting on it. and it's their tradition that when we put the Christmas decorations up, then they get to have their eggnog. And
Yep.
they make such a big deal, like it kills them to wait. But they've told us, we're going to do this with our kids. So I love it that you're doing that, because those are things that they'll remember and do with their children someday, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think it's important. Like, and I also don't have to. I feel guilty sometimes. I think a lot of us do as parents is like, oh, well, wait, I didn't do this every day.
Mm-hmm.
But there's those moments that if I can create opportunities to have those moments, I think I can make more of an. I can continue to make an impact.
Yeah.
And still like build that relationship with them. You know.
Yeah. And you're
So,
all over town. Like, I see you at all these different charity events, and it's always really nice to run into you. But I'm always shocked when I see you, like, behind a camera in the park at Bixby, because they were having the big barbecue competition. And then I saw you at the Soldier's Wish, and you never know where you're going to pop up. So I'm sure you do have to schedule a lot of this family time, because you have so many demands on your time.
And it's a
you need to
priority. So, like, I put it on the calendar, and I follow through with it 95% of the time. There's always some things that happen, but yeah.
Sure.
So I make sure it's a priority, to do that throughout the weekends. Or my son's birthday's coming up, so like I made sure that like don't schedule me anything work related, so I can go pick him up from school, take him to lunch, and then drop him back off. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And one of my parents, your
They
mom
feel
would do
special,
that.
and
yeah,
that's awesome.
So I think that's cool. But generally speaking, I think that's a lot of like more of the specific like things that I want to work on this year.
Yeah. When your kids start to get older, you realize, like, I have 4 summers with my son before he's off to college.
Yeah.
I have 4 Christmases before he's gone, 4 family vacations before he's out of the house. And with your boys getting older, I'm sure you're realizing
Same thing.
that also.
Yep. I've been thinking about that for the last several years, and even with my parents and stuff too, as they get older,
Mm-hmm.
like, if I'm lucky,
Yeah.
I've got less than 10 more Christmases.
Isn't that awful?
And they
It's
live
true,
1,000
but
miles
it's
away.
awful.
So I can't just like go drive around the corner and,
Mm-hmm.
hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Can I borrow some sugar? They're not next door. My big word for this year is intention. And step 1 is being mindful of it. And so I love having a lot of great ideas. And even more so, I love trying to figure out how to make them happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll move quick. And I think over the years, I've kind of looked back and been like, some of those things I should have moved faster on, while others I probably should have put more thought into it. And I've wasted so much time.
Yeah.
So it didn't align with anything that was intentional. It's just, some of it was just doing.
Mm-hmm. Just because you can.
Just because I can and do it and try it. And if it doesn't work, then fail. And
Yep.
so
I have many of those myself.
I'm trying to start with more of the why,
Mm-hmm.
and take notes month by month. So I've got like more of a planner and a journal log it's already structured out. I bought a template basically for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I just follow week by week, day by day, month by month, I can
go.
chip it away. And then there's like monthly review stuff, and it reflects based on what I said at the beginning of the month and what should I change for next month. And so like I'm starting to kind of become more mindful of what I'm doing rather than just doing and existing.
Part of that comes with age and experience. When you do realize you've wasted a lot of time, you're more conscientious of what you put your time into.
Yeah.
Work and friends. Like my friend group has gotten astronomically smaller through the years, and the friends that I have are amazing. Like, they're encouraging and supportive, and they genuinely love you. But when you're intentional about who you spend your time with, you end up with really amazing quality people in your life, not people that you just hang out to hang out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been friends since 7th grade.
Really?
20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. His is earbuds in. You can't hear anything.
Yeah. You pay him to help you with your little booth? No.
No, I did it. Yeah, he's a good guy. And then, so I've got one other friend, too. He's also in California. We've been friends since 9th grade. And, that's about it. I've got another really good friend. We've been friends for 3 years.
Is that where your parents are? Are they in California?
No, my parents are in North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Total opposite.
Yep, the opposite side of the U.S. But they just moved out there 6 years ago, not too long. But they were born and raised here in Tulsa. And why there? Started with my mom's brother. So like they live out there now. They're like, yeah, we're a few hours from the oceans, a few hours from the mountains.
Yeah, it's
You
beautiful.
know, we're 4 hours to New York. We're 6 to 8 hours to Orlando. You know, so
Yeah,
they have a lot of variety, a lot of different terrains. North Carolina's pretty.
yeah.
So I've been setting up, per se, just satellite offices. So one's in North Carolina. The other one is his office out in San Diego. One's in McKinney, and then 2 in Oklahoma City that I've worked with a client on. That he has some office spaces. So
That's a lot.
yeah, so
Congratulations.
all last year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Nothing's really been pursued yet. So outside of just establishing an address and the potential to be able to set someone up in there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I'll carry on with the actual story that's happened, things I've learned, I guess, last year, set up the locations, hired a handful of people, grew really, really quick. And I did that on purpose to see what I was missing or if it was possible to be able to grow that fast. And I realized that I can grow that fast. I can grow faster than that. But in order to do that and do it successfully, I'm missing out on some crucial process. So I went really far forward, and now I'm kind of going a little bit further back in order to kind of take that leap back to where I wanted to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
It's like a forensic analysis going back
for
of
real, yeah.
what
And it's cost about $80,000.
it
such a
tends to
short
happen
time
that way,
frame.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Which is definitely nerve-wracking. But, I mean, what I explained once, and I think I heard this from another podcast, about how money is more just another form of energy.
I totally believe
It's designed to be transferred. It's never designed to be held.
Yeah.
You know, batteries, they'll die at some point, right? They don't last forever. Money, if you leave it in a bank account, eventually it'll dwindle. If you put $1 in there 10 years ago, it would probably be worth 10 cents now.
Yeah.
Right? So, so long as it stays moving and transferring, then I think it'll wind up coming back around, and it comes and goes. My grandpa would just make a joke and be like, it's just ones and zeros, you know.
Yeah.
So, and money will always be out there.
Yeah. It's just
You just got
money.
to go find it. You know, if you need more of it, go find it. Just make sure it goes right back to where it needs to go. Right back out into a nonprofit or into a church or, you know, families who need it or communities
Exactly.
or whatever it is. Yeah. And it'll come back around. You know, you need it and they'll need it. And,
Yep. No, I agree.
So what are you focused on? What's next?
I mean, I'm kind of with you. Family time. My practice is open 3.5 days a week, 4 days a week. I'm there 3.5 days a week. And I have done that so I can pick my kids up from school and take them to jiu-jitsu and take them to the places they need to go and watch their basketball games. So you build, and you grind so hard to get where you're at. And then now it's time to enjoy some of that freedom. So that's what's next for me. It was, this is the first year in 4 years when I haven't opened a new business, like adding to it, whether it's
A service, a product, or an actual new establishment.
Yeah, we have Airbnb, we have long-term rental. It's like every year there's been this huge money-sucking project that everything, all your attention is getting poured into. And 2025 is the first year where I'm not doing that. I'm cultivating what I have, making what I have better, and I'm just focused on that rather than seeing what else I can do.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. So that's another reason why I'm kind of glad the studio, I'm not doing that anymore. And I've heard too, like sometimes it's almost like they say it's that woman in the red dress. What's that movie called? The Matrix. Remember that scene in The Matrix where he's walking and he sees the woman in the red dress? And then there's the guy pointing the gun at him. He's like, are you with us or are you with them? Right? And so you get excited, and I think a lot of times that entrepreneurial spirit comes out, and you're like, oh, I could do this, and I could do that, and I can make extra money, and that could make an impact, and I have that ability, and I can blah, 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 you know? And actually, carry that thought on, too. There was somebody else that we talked with on the podcast almost 2 years ago. It's the owners of On Call, and they're like, stay in your lane. Like, if you work with trash, and you work with septic, don't go out and start something in IT. I have no clue in that. compare that on to another person that told me that too. His name is Brad, and he owns an accounting firm, and he's bought and sold 40 businesses in his time frame, and he just acquired another one that's outside of his industry. So now I'm going to be like, why did you do that? But he's like, why would, and we were golfing once, he's like, why do you want to go out and venture and go do commercial real estate? I'm like, well, it'd be different than what I'm doing now, and, it's another source of income, and, blah, 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 blah. And I think it'll kind of give some assets. I think it'd be good for, whether it's my personal balance sheet or a business balance sheet or whatever. I think it'd be good to have something like that. And he's like, well, be careful doing that too much, because that's a whole nother industry with a whole new set of numbers, with a whole new set of vocabulary, with a whole sorts of new problems that you have no clue how to solve. And even if you know somebody in those industries who have kind of done something with it, now your time is against you to be able to learn those quick enough to be able to make smarter decisions. So, because otherwise, if you don't fix the problems in this new industry in your business, then it's just going to sit there for 10 years, and then it's just going to blood suck your money and your time. And it's going to distract you from what you're actually good at and the passions and stuff that you like to do. And
so he's buying and reselling?
Yeah.
Or like buying, improving, and reselling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll buy it and then improve it, build it out, and then sell it. I know a couple guys have been doing that. But yeah, he 40 plus, him and his wife.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
And this year, it's funny, we were talking, and he was like, we're done. He's like, the kids are out. Going off to college, and we're downsizing our business, and we are going to be the business for a little while, and when we're done, we'll be done, and we'll be financially done too. Like, we'll be good, because we've bought and sold, and we've done this, we've invested, and we've made our money, and everything else too, and we don't need a big business anymore, and we could retire now, and we're good for the next 30 years, but yeah, so it's just interesting to kind of hear different perspectives, because I feel a lot of times I'm frustrated if you sit and you're on TikTok or on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, and everyone's, saying how easy it is to start a business, or how you should, put your eggs in different baskets, and
a million different opinions.
A million different opinions, and it's almost like, yeah, it is that easy. And you get out and you're like, yeah, well, it is easy to start a business. I can file an LLC, $100, and bam, I started a business. Well, there's a lot more to it than just that.
Opening the Pilates studio is a completely, like, the Pure Health Collective and Glacier Bodyworks are same vein. It's hyperbarics, infrared salt saunas, body contouring, acupuncture. Like, it's all the same vein.
Yeah.
And then you have this Pilates studio. And it is a totally different animal. And there's been a few times where I thought I have bitten off more than I can chew, because there's so much I have to learn. And it's your employees are skilled employees. Like, they have certifications that took them months and years to acquire. And so now I'm having to go through the process of getting myself instructor certified. So if somebody's sick, or there's not somebody that can cover a class, that I can go teach, so that
You have to be certified to do Pilates?
You have to be certified to teach, to instruct it.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
My instructors have like 600 hours of training.
What is Pilates? I should have asked that a long time ago. I'm trying to picture, what is Pilates?
It is, I don't even know how the best way to explain it is. It's
like CrossFit?
No, not at all. You have a reformer that looks like a rectangle, like a bed frame.
Okay.
And it has a pad on it that your back lays on, and it is on wheelies, and it moves. And there's foot plates, and there's foot straps and arm straps, and it's body weight, very slow, controlled body weight exercises that work out every muscle in your entire body. It's very lengthening and strengthening, ton of core work. And so when you're doing it, you feel like you're not doing much because it's so slow and controlled, and then your entire body will be sore for days. It is in a complete, total, full body workout, just in a 50-minute class. Instead of having leg day and arm day, you're doing the whole body every class.
Yeah.
But finding instructors is really difficult. So if anybody out here is watching, I'm hiring for instructors. I need as many instructors as I can get. And I'll have to go through the certification myself in case I have to jump in there and teach a class myself.
Yeah.
Total different animal.
that's another area of liability, right? So
Yeah.
what do you do if you can't do it and you have somebody that can do it? Then it starts costing money,
Yeah, and
right? And
it's
reputation.
stressful because you're trying to offer as much as you can to the public, and if you have to cancel a class, it impacts not just you, it impacts, all of your members.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I've been trying to pair us up here in the office where I'm like, I'm not the only one that knows this, and you're not the only one that can do this, and you're not the only one, and how can we still accomplish this, if you're not available?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to build this atmosphere where, hey, if something happens to you, I can still make sure they're still taken care of, and help each other and become more of like a team member mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like a family. Like we're a family here. We need to take care of each other as such.
Yeah.
Like it's not just, well, if they know how to do this, and there goes my job security. Well, not necessarily. Like if you do a good job here and you teach and you work together as a unit.
In my
then it benefits
naturopathic
it all.
practice, all the employees are cross-trained. Everybody can do everybody else's job. So if somebody has a sick child or they need to take vacation, it's covered. My husband, Matt, he, for the past year and a half, has worked 2 days a week in my office. And he does, like, the bookkeeping and all the HR stuff and stuff that I am terrible at. So he handles all of that, but he's cross-trained. He knows how to do every job in the office also. So
good.
he jumps in, and I feel like you have to have that to have a seamless a flow to things, so that people don't realize that you may behind the scenes be scrambling because somebody's not there, but that's not felt, in the atmosphere.
Let's do those cards.
All right.
Want to pull one out?
Yeah.
So, for those of you who forgot or don't remember, part of the Bruising Business Podcast, we like to do these Diary of CEO conversation cards. They help empower the true meaning of human connection. And so what we do is we pull out one card, you'll read it, and either one of us can answer it at any point in time.
Oh gosh. Why do you exist? That's a loaded question.
That's loaded. Very, very.
Should have done this at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah. What is that related to destiny?
I don't know. I think you can interpret it however you choose.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I have a direct answer on that one. Why do I exist? I don't know how I got to exist, but I don't know why. I believe. Okay, so I guess I can take that back a little bit. So I was talking with Deborah and the Soldier Wish team earlier, and there was something similar to that about how we wanted to leave a legacy. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of talking about, well, we were just talking about earlier about what happens with the business when we're done, and what happens to our people when we're done. Well, that kind of makes me still think about legacy, about leaving something behind. So I don't know, why do you exist? I feel like I'm here to leave something behind and help teach people. Oh, there goes a cat or something.
Yeah, it was some little creature.
Here to make an impact somewhere on a business level, on a community level. I've been feeling more called to more community stuff, but I don't know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer.
Okay. I mean, it's a good answer. Yeah. I would say I exist to empower people. That would be my answer. Yeah. When I'm in a consult with someone, you can't help them unless you understand what their stresses are and what's gotten them to this state. And so they share a lot of really, really deep, personal, traumatic things with me. And a lot of people just need to be heard, They just need to be heard and need to be told reminded that they're a powerful being. They're in control of their life, their destiny, reminding them that they are powerful enough to create whatever life that they want, and giving them the tools that they need to make sure that their health is good, to be there for their families and their children. Mm-hmm. So I would say empowerment of others is probably what my existence boils down to.
That's deep, man.
I know, these cards.
Well, do you have any other questions or thoughts or things for me?
No, I'm thrilled that you invited me back. I had such a good time last time. I'm thrilled to be here. So
I've got one. as we wrap this up, what would you encourage other entrepreneurs, business owners, even busy executives, right, professionals, to try to balance some of the health? Like, how can we focus more on our health? Is there any ideas or any tips like the water stuff, or is there anything like nutrition wise, or
Yeah.
anything that comes to mind?
Yeah. I mean, drinking enough water. I know it's age old and everybody says, stay hydrated, but it's so true. Every function of your body requires water to flush out toxins. I always tell people your body's like a water hose that's packed full of mud, and you need a really strong water push to flush all the trash out. So that is, disease lives in unoxygenated toxic environments. So getting fresh air, getting sunlight. There's so many people that come to see me that have very high stress jobs, and I tell them that your homework is to
Go play outside.
drink
Drink
get
some
barefoot,
water.
go sit in the sun, fresh air, no phone, just reconnect with nature because it's calming, and there's this symbiotic relationship between the bottom of our feet and the earth, and it is designed to take inflammation from our body and excess from our body, and we're designed for that. And we got these rubber soles strapped to the bottom of our feet, and we're on concrete all day long, and we've lost that connection with the earth that is designed to take from us the excess energy, the excess electrical charge that can cause health issues. So we are designed to ground, to do earthing.
Yeah, grounding. That's what I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So that's important, and drinking plenty of water. Just being outside. The vitamin D stuff from the sun is real.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. In order to make vitamin D, half the country is low in vitamin D, and this is the reason why. It's not, yes, they don't get enough sunlight, but your body, vitamin D is so important that it is the only element, hormone, nutrient, people call it a bunch of different things, that God has given us the ability to manufacture within our own body. It's so important that it's the only thing that we can synthesize
Vitamin D?
ourselves. Yes.
Really?
And in order to make it, you have to have a working liver. You have to have cholesterol, and half the country's on cholesterol-lowering medications that tell your body not to make it. You have to have B vitamins, and you have to have exposure to sunlight. That is the recipe to make your own vitamin D. So if you're on cholesterol-lowering medication, you're going to have low D levels. If you are not taking the right type of B vitamin for your genetics, methylated versus non-methylated, if you have the MTHFR gene, then you can't absorb B vitamins from your food, so your vitamin D levels are going to be low. So there's a little bit more to it to make sure that you can. I'm not a fan of taking vitamin D as a supplement at all. That's like taking a synthetic hormone, because we're designed to make it, and so I don't supplement vitamin D. I give my body what it needs to make its own.
Fair.
But for busy people, if there's one thing that I have discovered, aside from staying hydrated and sunlight and things, but get an air filtration system for your house. Everybody in my family for years, spring and fall, would get the terrible stuff up nose, the cough that's going around right now. We got independent, like tower air purifiers in our living room, in our kitchen, in our bedroom, in the kids' bedrooms. And it's been almost 3 years since we've suffered from anything sinus-related, coughs, colds, because it keeps the viruses and mold and dust circulated out. So
I have a couple clients in HVAC
yeah,
that they can install like the home purification system.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So something
incredible.
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a home one, just get a tower one. That's what I have in the Pilates studio. I think Stella Luna is the brand.
Okay.
And it's hospital grade filtration. And it's not a huge studio, but there's 4 of them in there. We keep it super
Circulating.
filtered out. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Very helpful.
Would there be any reason why someone would want to get in touch with you or need to?
If you've been shuffled from doctor to doctor and they haven't figured out what's wrong with you, I'm probably the person that you want to see. Medical mysteries is kind of what I specialize in. Kids that have sensory processing disorders, pandas, if you have bowel issues, if you're exhausted, if you're anxious, all of those things are things that I specialize in.
Okay. And is the best way to support you or to find ways to contact you through a website or social media?
Yeah, purehealthcollective.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best way to do that. Schedule an appointment on
Yeah.
there?
I have a lot of different appointment options. So the best thing is to log onto the website, kind of peruse and see what there is. And then my staff is amazing. They'll be very happy to go through what your list of concerns are with you and see what appointment fits you best.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to
Welcome
see you
back.
always.
It's good to
Thank
catch
you.
up. Yeah, and I'll see you at some of the other events. Are you going to any of the Broken Arrow Chamber stuff, or are you in the Jinx Chamber, Tulsa Chambers?
I was in the Jinx Chamber forever. I didn't do the Jinx Chamber this year. I may have to get back into it because it's like a reunion. When all your friends are at all these places, it's just a good way to see your friends.
See them every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Broken Arrow Chamber Gala tomorrow, and
That'll
I go to
be
the
fun.
Tulsa Chamber member mingle stuff, and I think the Jinx Chamber is doing a beer fest thing in the first week of March or whatever. So,
Do you do anything with the Demand Project?
no, but they have their Blue Tie Gala coming up that I want to go to.
It's my
but I can't buy
favorite.
tickets.
I happen to have a table. If you and your wife would like to be my guests,
Yeah.
I got a table.
Yeah. It's in, you said April? No, March.
It's the first
April.
weekend in April, like April 4th, I think.
That's right. Yep, April 4th.
Yeah, it's my favorite event of the entire year.
I've got a blue suit.
You
so
do.
I could wear that.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll blend right in.
You you will blend right in.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining and listening in on today's conversation. It's been very, I wanted to come up with I was thinking earlier, I actually had a really good pun. Now I just completely forgot it, but it's okay. But I've learned a lot, Mindi. Thank you for
Thanks for having me.
being here today and sharing with us. And if you can, subscribe, share, comment. If you know anyone that you'd like to have a conversation with here on the podcast, you can nominate them. You can offer them up to be a guest here on the podcast on the website. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.